skirt, we want to give it a good sanding before we get ready to put on the glass tape. Use a good quality sandpaper, change it often. Move the sanding machine around. Don't try to sit in one spot because you'll just heat up the epoxy and get it all soft and chunky on you. So just briskly move it around, change the sandpaper often, and wear good ventilators. You can hear my Jet 1000B air filtration system hanging in my shop, running in the background. That's been one of the best things I've added to the shop. So onward and upward.
I'm going to do a short little segment on taping. Curved boats can sometimes give you some problems because of the arcs involved, and you're either going to have to be cutting a lot of darts to get the tape to bend, which are darts are like cuts every so often so that the tape can bend. What I found is that if I coat the upper half of the tape first, get it wetted out to the hull, then I can take my toothbrush, which I'm going to break out a new one for this, and I can brush it back into the corners and then get the whole tape to lean in that direction, and then I don't have any darts. Once I get out into a straighter section of the hull, then I don't have to worry about that. But once I start coming into the other end, then I have to keep on or go back to what I started with of wetting out the upper half and then chasing the excess to that far forward corner. Okay, I got a nice close-up in here. You can see where I chased the excess back into this corner. There was a lot more of it, but I don't have enough memory card on that camera to get the whole thing. I got to get a DV camera and start doing these things right. But that's how you do it. It's smooth all the way down, and I have no darts from end to end. I'll be adding another layer of 3-inch tape on top of that before this completely cures. You'll also notice that I've got some lines I've marked in here for the width of the 2-inch tape and the width of the 3-inch tape in order to keep me smooth as I lay them down from one end to the other. I find that those little things keep me online, and I don't wind up with weedy looking tape afterwards. So. Okay, we're going to start doing the same thing with the 3-inch tape. Lay it down. I've got it laid out the full width. The epoxy underneath is still damp, so I'm going to wet out this one with some of the excess from the 2-inch underneath, and then I won't have any excess or lumpy spots. So that's what I'm going to do now. The lower tape was smooth from end to end. I had some big lumps, but I was able to chase them all the way, so never give up. The top half of the seam wetted out, and I've applied my tape, and I've been putting some extra coats of epoxy on top to hold it down in place. Okay, now we'll start in the middle and kind of dig up underneath the tape, put a little bit down, and we'll start chasing the ripples off to the ends, and then chase them all the way down to the ends. And then come back and do more wetting. You're going to probably do a 60% wet out at this stage. Okay, we've got the 3-inch pressed on to the top of the wetted out 2-inch. Didn't take that much more epoxy to wet out the 2-inch, but you want to make certain that you get the whole the tape wetted out so you don't have any dry points or spots underneath the 3-inch. And we'll do the same thing with the 3-inch. Start putting it underneath and then pressing it in. And we'll only do the top half at this time, and then watch that the tape is still following the lines that were marked out earlier. Okay, we got the top of the 3-inch wetted out. Now we'll go back and do the same thing with the underside. Carrying that excess to the bow or to the stern, depending which direction you're working in. Also be concerned about the upper edges, that gravity doesn't make the epoxy drain out of this upper surface and leave you a dry spot that's going to rise. So, okay, we got the 3-inch tape completely wetted out, and in order to keep from getting drips all over the boat, you want to take 3 inches on a 3-inch roller cage, 3 inches of a cheap foam roller, something like this, and then make smaller humps. I get that at my do-it center for 99 cents, so 33 cents to make certain I don't have to sand drips and runs for hours on end. A fair trade for me. Once this gets cured and I get ready to do the other seams, or actually I got the center seam and one on the other side to do, but that'll come later. Once I get done with this and it's all cured, then I'll sand the edges, get rid of the rough selvage along the edges of the glass tape, vacuum it down, and then give the whole boat a good sanding inside, and then I'll give it a skim coat of epoxy over everything on the inside to seal it all up, and a little bit of epoxy on the weave of the tape to fill it in a little bit so it's not quite so rough. The extra coat of epoxy, and then 2 or 3 coats of paint hides just about everything. So, but this is going to come looking pretty good. So if you follow these tricks along the way on your boat, you should have good luck. Just be careful and watch what you're doing, and don't rush too fast, and don't make too much epoxy at any one time. And change your gloves often, because they will get messy and wind up with little fingerprints on everything. So until the next time.